Well, hello, my friends. Or should I say, ho, 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 because I am wearing a red Santa hat right now. I've got a green light spill in the background at the moment on the Storied Coaching Podcast, because we're going to talk about all the gear that you might want to ask Santa for, or that you might want to put in your own stocking this year to look amazing on camera as you go into 2023. For a lot of our students that are signing up right now for our new course, the Coach Studio program, where we launch your vodcast for you and send you all the gear and get everything set up, they're getting excited about the fact that they're going to walk into 2023 and really have this amazing setup and be ready to make amazing content, video content, launch their podcast at the same time, be able to look amazing on webinars, and be able to feel great about their environment while they're coaching their clients as well, whether they're a business coach or a life coach, or they are a influencer or a thought leader in one of the different areas that we help people on all over the place. And so one of the things that we have available right now is a gear guide that is perfect if you are looking to stuff your stocking with things that are going to help you look amazing and feel amazing producing content this next year. Whether you've made a promise to yourself and your team that you want to get out there more on Instagram, that you're going to do more Facebook Lives, you're going to do more webinars, they're going to make some videos for YouTube, for your Vimeo channel, whatever you want to do. If you want to bring that stuff in-house and save yourself a lot of cost, but still look great, this is going to be the perfect episode for you. So I'm going to be going through the actual guide you can download at storiedcoaching.com/camera coach. It's the same thing that you hear as the call to action at the end of each episode, but we've updated the guide with our newest, funnest stuff with links and everything to our favorite gear right now for setting up your perfect camera environment, just to make your studio look amazing. And you can just follow the links and add to cart. We've made it that easy for you. So I'm going to be walking through the guide right now. So the best way to do this, other than watching the video of this, because you get to see me in my red Santa hat, is going to be for you to download that at storiedcoaching.com/camera coach. There's going to be like a on-camera quiz that you can take that takes less than 2 minutes. And then you're going to get this PDF download that's going to have all of these things that I'm talking about in it. So you're going to get a lot of this episode just by hearing me talk about the gear and why it might be great for you and why we picked it. But if you get the guide, then you're going to have it as well. We'll also put it in the show notes. That way you have everything you need to be able to follow it, or you can, forward it to a family member, a loved one if you want, and drop a couple hints of some of the stuff that you might want. Remember, were you ever in the position when you were a kid to do what I did? And I know that my kids do this right now. My daughter does this. She gets those Christmas catalogs in the mail that they gear towards kids, of course, this time of year. And she gets out a big red pen and circles things to make it really obvious. So you could do that. You could print out this guide, circle it, and just kind of, slide it under your partner's pillow or something. And then they'll know exactly what you want for Christmas. All right, so we're going to go over this. This is the Look Amazing on Camera Ultimate Video Gear Guide. And we've just updated it with our favorite things for the holidays so that you can get all the cool stuff that you want. So let's jump in right now. So the reason that we made this guide is because the way that you show up on camera is the way that you show up in order to coach powerfully and to be able to distribute your content the way that you want if you are a coach. And so that's why we made this guide, because clients are humans in the end, and humans, they make decisions based off of what they see. It's what we do. 80% of the population is visually dominant, which means what they see, the initial reaction they see with you when you are presenting content to them, whether it's Zoom or Teams or whatever it is, that is making an impact. So you might as well use that to your advantage, which is, as a production company, obviously we feel very strongly about, but we have been able to pick up tips and techniques over the years in order to help you do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to help you to set all of this up. The first thing that we're going to talk about is camera placement. So camera placement, really, this boils down to one important thing. You want to have an independent video camera it can be a very high-end webcam. You don't have to get a DSLR or a super fancy mirrorless camera. If you want to start going in that direction, our people can absolutely advise you on that. But for most of our clients, I'd say 80% plus of our clients, using the webcam suggestions that we have that are very high end and using them correctly is all that you really need to do. So camera placement is a really important thing though. What you want to do is you want to make sure that the camera is at eye level. This is very important because you're going to start training yourself to look directly into the camera lens instead of down at the zoom window where you usually look at people when you're presenting, when you're talking with them, when you're coaching. Why? The reason that you want to do this is because when you look directly in the camera lens and it's at eye height, it's seen as a sign of respect. And it feels to the viewer like you're looking them directly in the eye. And how do you feel when someone looks you directly in the eye? You feel like they're being respectful, they're making a connection with you, and they're engaged with you. It's a very subtle but powerful difference looking directly in the camera lens, or as we call it in the production field, spiking the camera, looking directly into the lens. That's what you want to do when you are in the position of coaching or doing something like this. Our rule of thumb for our students is we help them practice to 80% of the time they're looking directly in the camera lens, 20% of the time they're looking down and checking in every once in a while in order to make sure that they are, checking facial expressions, things like that with their audience, and they're not losing anybody. But that's really all you need to do there is just make sure that you're getting your camera up to that eye level. So the way you want to do that is by either having some sort of desk where you can raise it up and put it on top of your screen. That's why having an independent camera is so important. Or by having it on a tripod that's right up behind your monitor. So if you have a standing desk, sitting desk, whatever it is, that it's right at eye height with you. So you don't have to look down or look up. So camera placement, just remember that eye level, and that does most of the battle for you. Now, you might want to get a couple things that will help you with this. Now, I talked about having a foldable stand or a tripod or something that you can put it on. Now, if you're using a laptop, that works great. We just want to get that laptop up a bit so that you're looking at the screen, not down at the screen. You're actually looking at the screen at eye height. Using a foldable stand, like the ones we recommend in the guide, one's called the Rooster stand. The other one's called the Neck stand. They both do the exact same thing. Rooster stand is a little more expensive. Some people feel that it's higher quality. I found that they're pretty comparable either way, but we have a link directly to that. If you're going to use this is putting your laptop up a bit. And so the keyboard is going to be up now too. Not the most comfortable thing to type on with your hands being up higher. It's not on the desk anymore, it's up higher. So you're going to probably want to get a wireless keyboard. Those are very inexpensive as well. They're not that expensive. A good Bluetooth or USB keyboard, super affordable. And we have a link to our favorite one right now that looks really nice and is very portable. Most of the stuff in this guide that I'm going to be talking through today is stuff that we have specifically made so that you could be a digital nomad if you wanted. If you were going to be traveling extensively, if you were going to be on the go, all of this stuff will fit in a separate small suitcase or even a large backpack. So you can take all of this stuff with you, which we like. Being able to be a coach, a thought leader, someone that is leading your teams and being able to travel but look great wherever you go, you can even set it up in a hotel room, is something that we want all of our students to be able to do. And so we included this stuff in the guide so that it's our preferences for being able to do that well, no matter where you are. So that's camera placement. The next thing you want to be aware of, obviously, is which camera that you're going to use. So we recommend two different ones. The first one is a Logitech 920 camera. It's fairly affordable. It has a good lens. It does a good job. I would say that if budget is an issue, pick that one. It's a workhorse. It works really, really well. Our students make great content with it. So it's not like you are getting something less than that you're going to be disappointed with. However, that being said, if you have a little more money and you want to look amazing on camera, we have just recently added to the guide because of one of the conferences that we just went to, we were introduced to a new camera that is amazing. I can't believe that it's a webcam, actually. Because it produces some of the same effects and color grading and color like vividness that we would expect only in a mirrorless or a DSLR camera, something that is a lot more expensive. It's called the Lumina, and the Lumina camera, and it costs about $160 to $180. It's a more expensive webcam, but it has AI built into it, so it tracks you where you move with your head. So if you're moving in between a whiteboard, for instance, and you're moving back into frame or teaching or coaching, it will actually move with you, which is pretty cool. And it also has a color balance card, so it auto balances the first time that you set it up, but it's plug and play. It's USB based, so you plug it in your computer. There's no drivers, there's nothing you need to do, but it allows you to customize it to your heart's desire as well. And it has, you'll notice if you're watching me ever on screen, that I have this kind of effect that happens in my background because of the camera that I'm using that you see in a lot of higher end cameras. And it creates this background effect where it's slightly out of focus. And that's just like when you see on TV shows or you see on movies or you see on higher end productions, it's that same effect. This camera does that out of the box. So pretty cool. Check it out. The Lumina, we have a link to it in the guide, but both are plug and play and super easy to use. Just pick one, run with it. Now, microphones. Lots of different ways to go as far as sound. Being heard clearly, very, very important. No one will shut off your podcast or your video faster than if you have bad audio. It's just grating to have bad audio. The good news is microphones have come down so much in price and there's so many options now that there's really no excuse to have bad audio. Most of them do most of the work for you. We have two choices that we like to recommend to our students. They're both high quality, both super easy to use. It's really just a question of style. And a lot of this equipment picking is that. It's how do you want to look on camera and what's the style that you want. Now, if you want more of the vibe that I have going right now, where you've got the microphone, perhaps you have it on an arm or a stand, or you want that kind of like more podcast look to it or vodcast podcast look, we recommend the Elgato Wave 3. Again, link to it in the guide, but it's super easy to use. It makes you sound great. It's really easy. It's plug in USB and we love it. It's just super high end, really, really works well. And you can't mess it up. The other thing that you can use is a Samson wireless headset. You'll see a lot of coaches use this, the whole Tony Robbins thing, or Brooke Castillo, she uses these as well. Lots of high-end coaches use that kind of headset mic with the little microphone at the bottom. That's a Samson wireless headset. They also have a version of that is a clip-on, what we call a lavalier microphone. So it's the little ones that you see in interviews sometimes where you see on their lapel. It's a lapel mic. It's just a small one that clips on. Same thing, just a different microphone that attaches to a wire and a little battery pack. And then it hooks up to your computer. So it just depends on if you want that more professional coach keynote speaker vibe, or if you want to go with that more podcast vodcast vibe. Both options are great. Just think about stylistically which one you like better, add to cart, and you're done. You don't need to overthink it any more than that. Now, basic lighting. Getting yourself some good lighting is going to be one of the best ways to just love the way that you look on camera more. It really will help you to be able to get rid of any shadows or blown out areas on your face that are like what we call too hot on your face. So you get that kind of that bounce off, especially for people like me that don't have a lot of hair up top. That can be something that if you have like a bunch of harsh overhead lighting or something, that can be a deal breaker. So what we have found helps people the most is being able to know where to place the lights, which we go over in the guide. We have a diagram on there that shows you exactly where to place them for a basic 3-point light setup. So refer to the guide. It's going to show you exactly where to place your lights. Even if you're just using some lamps from around the house, you can dramatically change the way that you look and feel on camera just by where you're placing the lights and which lights you're turning off, like overhead lights, you're getting less bounce. So we recommend the Lume Cube Edge Light 2-pack right now. Lume Cube is the brand. They have lots of options on their website. It seems like they're having more and more all the time. There's 2 that we usually recommend to students. Most of the time, I'd say like 70% of the time, we're recommending the Edge Light 2-pack. They're these really cool, they almost look like those architecture firm lights that you've seen that have the different articulating heads on them. So you can like move the light anywhere that you want, but there's round light panels on both of them. And it allows you to change the color settings. It allows you to go all the way from like a cold tungsten all the way up to a warm amber. So no matter what your skin tone is, you can dial it in perfectly so that you love the way that you look. We usually recommend that Lume Cube Edge 2 light, but they also have some options if you know you're going to be traveling a lot that come on small tripods, that light panels that fold up really easy and really small and ridiculously small to fit into a backpack. So those are the 2 that we usually recommend based on how you think you'll be using them the most. For your third light, for a three light setup, we recommend getting a light stick. We really like the ones from Govee. They're a good combination of fair price, and they seem to work really well. We haven't had a lot of defective units, which can be a thing sometimes with LED lights. If you get a brand that is a really great sale, sometimes they don't last very long. But we found that the Govee ones last a really good amount of time. We haven't had any problems at all with their light sticks or their LED light strips. So that's what we recommend. There's some links in the guide to both of those, our favorite ones right now. In fact, those are some of the things that we're talking about right now are in the packages that we drop ship to students as part of our Vodcast Studio program. So when you sign up for our program, if you're one of our students, we're literally sending you everything I'm talking about right now in a box, in multiple boxes, to your house, wherever you want them shipped. You unbox them. One of our coaches gets on with you, helps you set everything up, all the cables, all the things, make sure that everything's dialed in, perfect for the environment that you're in. And then, of course, you go through the rest of the course and we launch your vodcast for you as well. But that being said, if you go into the guide and click these links, it's going to be super, super helpful to you, and you're going to know exactly what we ship our students. So the last thing that you want to pay attention to that is super, super important, and if you've been taking notes, I realize I talk kind of fast. You can always listen to this back though. And the last thing that's super important is curating your background. So there will be some times when you'll need to have a fake background, when you'll need to have the artificial background, when you're traveling, when you're doing something. Totally get it. However, most of the time you should be trying to curate an actual physical background. People just respond better to it. They know when it's real, and they know how it feels when they are looking at a space with you in it that is curated and is visually reinforcing the message that you're giving them. Now, if you're a coach, most of the time, the kind of environment that you're trying to curate for is that sense of visual calm, of simplicity. This is going to be something that you want to do. It's going to be easy. You're going to be taken care of. This is a safe space. These are the thoughts that we want to trigger in our audience's brain when they're watching us. It's visually calming. That way, they know that they're in a safe space and that you're able to help them. This can go for you as well if you are doing a vodcast and you're doing this more of in a B2B kind of thing, where you're doing a corporate vodcast or podcast. Because of the fact that you're trying to project a sense of ease, simplicity, and solving people's problems. You're going to make the customer's life easier by listening to your advice. You are the trusted expert. You're going to help get rid of their pain. So most of the time, if you go towards simplicity and visually calming, that is going to play well for you as you go ahead and present content. So for background curation, the first thing you want to do is zero everything out. So you don't have to curate that much space. Let's say it's maybe 4 feet of space that you have to curate, like what's behind me right now. And all you have to do is take everything out. You don't want to have any pre-existing decisions in there. Then you want to add a couple things back in. We go into detail of exactly what you should add in and our recommendations for where to put them in the guide. So make sure that when you download the guide at storiedcoaching.com/camera coach, that you look at that section on background curation, and you're going to be able to see exactly what we recommend. It makes it a lot easier for you to set up your background. So this has been a lot of details that I've given you. You can tell that I talk about this stuff a lot with our students because I just kind of buzz through it. But I realize for a lot of you, this might be new information. So you can listen to this again. That's one of the reasons I wanted to put it on the vodcast. If you're listening to the podcast version of this instead of watching the video on our website, you can go ahead and rewind and listen to this. You can also go to our website at storiedcoaching.com and watch the video in the podcast section. You can watch this video and then go to storiedcoaching.com/camera coach, get the guide, and just follow along, and you'll be all set. So really though, just add to cart with the links that we gave you. You're not going to go wrong. You're going to love the way that you look and you sound on camera. You're going to love that you have the opportunity to curate and make new content this next year and show up for your audience. This is not the time for you to hide. This is the time when you want to be in front of your audience and let them know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. There's a lot of people right now, a lot of customers, a lot of potential coaching clients, a lot of your team members, if you're a leader, that want to feel safer, especially with what's going on right now with talks of recession and downsizing and all kinds of things like that. They want to see and they want to hear you. And this is the easiest, most cost-effective way for you to do that. Whether you're going through our course on easy mode, where our production team is doing most of the work for you, and you're just listening to what we do and we get you up and running in 6 weeks, or whether you want to do this yourself and get it done, just pick an option and go. Really, I want you to be in front of your audience. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about stopping and starting. And if you made the wrong word choice, or if your lighting was absolutely perfect, just get started. This stuff that we're giving you will really give you a head start. But really, I want you to know that you can just show up as your authentic self, get in front of the camera, start recording, and start posting to whatever platform that you want. So if you want to take action right away, absolutely go ahead, check out what I've already talked about by taking that 2-minute quiz and downloading the guide at storiedcoaching.com/camera coach. And then from there, you will be able to get the opportunity to see our new course, which is live right now. If you go to storiedcoaching.com, you can see it there as well for our studio coaching program where we help you set up your vodcast and get started. We've already started enrolling students. We're kind of blown away about what the response has been so far. We've put a lot of work and a lot of time into this. You've probably heard me talk about it quite a bit over the last year as we've been building it out and making the perfect course that we wish that we had when we first started doing this for our clients. And now we're able to do it in a way that makes sense for people that don't have huge budgets, that aren't Microsoft, that aren't SAP, that aren't some of the larger companies that we work with that have huge $1 million budgets to work with. We have found a way to make this doable for solo entrepreneurs, for thought leaders, for coaches that's going to be able to help them as well. So if this is something that you're thinking about, check it out. But even if you just download this guide and follow the links because you want to get some cool new stuff in your stockings and then maybe upgrade your camera, upgrade a little bit of your lighting, this will be super helpful to you. So this is our Christmas gift to you. We wanted to do it right at the beginning of the holiday season. That way, if you did want to slip it under someone's pillow or circle it with a red pen and just kind of leave it on the coffee table for someone to find, you'll be able to do it. So thanks for listening. I hope that you have found this helpful. And I wish you all the best holiday season. We have some really cool stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks with interviews. I will talk to you soon. Until then, my friends, have a fantastic week.